Okay, so here it is. This is the 2009 C300. Now, I just looked at the invoice, and it's $444.14 just to diagnose that the windshield washer reservoir pump is not functioning properly, as well as the TPMS sensors. Two of them are out. Two of the four are out. Now, they're charged, well, he was charged, the customer was charged $444.14 for them to diagnose that his TPMS sensors need to be replaced and that the windshield washer reservoir pump is not working. Now, that's a simple 5-minute job to figure that out. You can go through the dash, you can see the warning regarding the TPMS sensors. You hook up your scanner, you can see that in the module itself that you're telling the windshield washer pump to squirt, and it has received command to squirt. And when you don't see a squirt, it's real easy to figure out why. So it's receiving the signal, but it's not doing it. So there is an electrical issue, meaning the pump. I'm gonna say a mechanical electrical issue. Typically, just the pump itself is out. It takes 5 minutes to figure that issue out. The sensors, it takes literally 1 minute to figure that out. You don't just replace one, you replace all four. Well, some people do just replace the one that's an issue, but the fact that they all have a typical similar lifespan, if one is faulty, the other three surely will be faulty soon after. So that's a decision that you have to make. Try to decide if you want to go ahead and just replace all four, and if so, where's the best place to do it? How is the what's the more effective way and cost-effective way in order to do that? They all come with similar lifespan warranties of whatnot, you know. So, you know, at the end of the day, the customer wants his TPMS sensors to work, and he wants his windshield washer reservoir to work when you activate it. So these are simple fixes that I'm going to repair for him and save him a lot of money. I think overall they were going to charge him over $1,400 to do such repairs. I'll save him a lot of money here. I'll do that myself. So these are just things you have to consider when you decide to go to a Mercedes dealership to get repairs done. Now, these are simple. A lot of my customers complain about more important issues and how much it costs to maintain and fix when you go through Mercedes. It is very expensive. Just like any other car dealership, Mercedes is going to charge you a whole lot of money to get a repair done there. So it's something that you have to consider. Can you afford a Mercedes? You have to find a better way to fix things. You can't take every little issue to the dealership. You will get taken advantage of. It's just what it is. And that's really with all car manufacturers. You can go to Ford Motor Company, you can go to a Ford dealership to get a repair done, and they're going to take advantage of you. It's just the way that the business goes. But with Mercedes, it will be a little bit more. Just something to consider, all right? When you decide to buy one of these and keep these things maintained. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later. I'll be in touch. Repair coming soon. All right, guys, now I'm going to pick up midstream here because I've already resolved the issue. This is regarding the windshield washer fluid reservoir, not the fluid not coming out when you try to activate the pump. When you try to activate the fluid, it does not come up. Now, obviously, with the hood up, that deactivates the windshield washer reservoir. It will not pump. That pump will not activate with the hood up. So always test your windshield washer pump with the hood down, of course, with it fully latched and closed. So in this case, with this 2009 C300, you try to activate the windshield washer fluid to come out of the little nozzle things. It would not come out, all right? You would not even hear the pump. So in this case, you can check a fuse, but you cannot check the fuse. You obviously will want to check a fuse if a fuse is available. On this model, there is not a fuse, so that is not an option. It's directly fed by the SAM unit or the module. All right, you're not going to find a fuse. So let's assume that your pump is bad. If you're not hearing anything coming out of it, you can check the voltage when you activate it. It takes two people to do that typically, and you hook up a voltmeter to the signal, which is the plug, two-prong plug. And positive, negative, whatever. If you get the volts, 12, 13 volts, then you know that it is the pump. The pump needs to be replaced. So in this case, the pump was bad. How did I remove it? Very simple. You remove the inner wheel well covering, this plastic covering right here on the driver's side front wheel. All right, you remove this. Of course, you have to take the wheel off to do that. You have to jack the car up in order to do that. So use common sense. Remove the wheel, remove the inner lining. It exposes the pump. Here goes the pump right here. I use an aftermarket pump. You do not have to use a Mercedes pump. It will come with a little rubber grommet right here. You can replace it if you want to, especially if the original one is old. It becomes stiff over time, less flexible, more susceptible to leakage. So if you have a leak, it's usually this right here. You can replace it with a new one. Now in my case, this was the new one, and it is not as wide as the original. So this upper part right here was not as wide. So when I pressed down with the new pump to install it, it actually pushed this thing through the hole of the reservoir itself. I lost it. So I had to use some needle nose pliers to pull it back out. The original one, I threw it away already. Let me pull this box out for the new one. The original one, also, there was a slight difference. This little lip right here was absent on the new one. It did not have this little lip. That's like a little stopping point when you insert this into the connection. Also, well, I'll just stop right there. So it did not have this. It was just a smooth shaft without this right here, this lip. That lip, like I said, its purpose is to stop it when you push it into the little connection. Now, the rubber hose connection is what feeds your little nozzles, little spray nozzles, all right? And I'm talking about this right here. All right. So there is a C-clip, a plastic clip that keeps this attached to this right here. Now, when I remove that clip easily removes. You pull it away from it, and it de-snaps, I guess you could say. It unsnaps, pops right off, allows this right here to pop out. Now, the bad part about this is when I pried it off and popped it off, it opened that up to like this. It needed to be tight like this for it to snap and catch onto the new one. Again, this is the old one, but you can use this as a reference. So it would not grab this little lip right here, the tip of the shaft right here. It would not grab that right there because it had too much flex to it. So I applied heat with a cigarette lighter. I applied heat to that little C-clip and closed it, put pressure on it, and let it cool down. And when it cooled down, it stayed closed and tight. That's one way of refreshing or retightening that plastic C-clip, is apply heat to it. Don't melt it. Apply heat to it so that it flexes, becomes malleable, and let it cool back down, holding pressure, and it stays, all right? That allowed me to reuse that original C-clip. Otherwise, I would have had to replace it, which makes no sense. Again, the new pump, this is the old one, but the new pump will come with just the pump itself and a little rubber grommet. So in this case, I'm using the original grommet. Of course, you have the plug right here, the connection, the two-prong connection. That easily pops off. And, well, once you lift this right here, the pump itself lifts out of the rubber grommet. And you disconnect this and you unplug that. Simple, typical Mercedes plug connection. And you just simply replace it, man. I put the new one back in place. Reconnected everything. That plug was a little hard to push back on to this aftermarket one. What brand did I go with? You might wonder. I went with this brand right here. This is something that I found online. Several sources. There's several manufacturers that make these pumps. You can go OEM if you want to. Not absolutely necessary, but maybe you wouldn't run into that issue that I ran into with the rubber grommet itself. You would have an OEM one that is, like I said, wider, covers more surface area, and will not push through. This one pushed through, so I'm not going to use it. Oh, dropped it. This right here, trash. Don't need it. So, simply reassemble everything. Of course, before you do that, test it. Make sure that it does work. And so, put the key in the ignition. You don't have to turn it on all the way. Put the key in the ignition, activate it, and if it works, boom, you resolve the issue. In my case, it was the power steering. It was the pump itself. The windshield washer pump was bad. When you take that old pump off, you will lose all of your windshield washer fluid. So in my case, I caught what was lost, I use a filter and put it right back in there. All right, the filter will catch all the gunk and slimy stuff that comes out when it drains. Like I said, I put mine into that bucket right there and use a filter and reuse it. And I had some more in order to fill it up. All right, so I used, in case you guys care, some of this stuff right here, some all season. Now, this is Cincinnati, Ohio. It's cold right now. It's in the wintertime. So make sure that you use something that's going to protect it and not freeze. Make sure you use the proper one. Not the summertime fluid, but definitely the winter fluid, below 20 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's that simple. To gain access and remove the inner lining, there's a couple things you got to remove. All right, a couple of plastic little fasteners and little clips or whatever you call them. One 8mm bolt. There are some 10mm, let me see, nuts that were missing, like the plastic nuts. They were missing. I was not the first to take this off. Obviously, in this case, he has an aftermarket HID kit. And so whoever probably installed that probably lost those two 10mm nuts. All right, so let me go ahead and put this thing back together. That's how you fix that issue, and you're good to go. So again, this is on the 2009 C300. All right, take notes. Anything that I missed, let me know. Let me know if it works for you. All right, simple fix. It's pretty common on most of the Mercedes models. Mercedes doesn't really deviate with the windshield washer fluid system. It's just location, pretty much. It's just location. Mercedes has used the same design for their windshield washer fluid reservoirs forever. Since the 80s, I know, at least. I've had some SECs that I've had, that I've taken apart and done similar work to. So Mercedes doesn't really deviate too much from that. It works, it's efficient. All right, guys, I'm out. I'm go ahead and put this thing back together. I have to put some TPMS sensors. Those are the tire pressure sensors. I got to get those put in. Again, you have these Mercedes, man. A lot of the stuff is simple maintenance. Some stuff is a little bit more difficult, requires you taking it to the shop, but a lot of the stuff, man, you can do yourself. Do a little research, watch videos like mine, and that's why I make these videos. I make these tutorials to help you guys to maintain and keep your Mercedes on the road instead of getting stroked at the dealerships and at the shops. The more you can do yourself, the more money you save, the more you keep in your pocket. Use it for something a little bit more advantageous. All right, you guys take care. Watch, share, like, subscribe, comment, and I'll be in touch. More videos to come. This is Autoworks. I'm out.